Welcome to the show. Today we will be talking with Alan Gonzalez, a fashion designer based in New York City. He also has a Houston, Texas-based brand named Allentude. After starring on season 18 of Project Runway, he moved to New York City and began working in the costume design field for TV productions. He is now the host of the spin-off show Project Runway Redemption on Bravo TV. Alan is able to do all of this, all while keeping his mother and brother as his greatest motivation. So let's kick off today's show. Welcome, Alan. How's it going?
Thank you. How is it not going? It's crazy busy. It is crazy busy, but I thank God for all the opportunities that are coming my way. So I'm going with the flow.
Excellent. So yeah, it took a little bit for us to get this interview because you are super busy and we're going to be delving into a lot of that good stuff. But thank you so much for your time. And
I know. Thanks for understanding. Truly, it's been so hectic and I'm happy to finally be here.
Excellent. Well, we're going to learn about all of that hecticness. So first off, the first time that I kind of came across you was a couple of years ago at the Houston Natural Science Museum. You had a runway show, which is an interesting place. How did you stumble on doing it at the Natural History Museum?
Yeah, so I love that museum. I've always loved it. I had my first fashion show there ever, straight out of college. This was back in like 2016. And I showed my first collection right there in the giant IMAX. And so I believe that the show that you went to was my like Galaxy Space inspired show.
Yep, a lot of masks. Didn't know how relevant that was.
A lot of masks. Way before the pandemic. Did not think that was going to be coming to us so soon. I thought it was more of like a future dystopian idea, but I guess here we are. And I knew that that was the show right before I was moving to New York. And so I knew that I wanted to kind of sort of do it full circle and have that be the last show that I did in Houston.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a great time. And then I think you kind of thanked everybody for a great show. And then I gather you hopped on a plane either the next day and went to New York City.
I did. It was super fun. It was really exciting. At that point, I had no idea what I was going to be doing in the city. I just knew that I had to be in New York. And so I grabbed like 2 bags and I had an Airbnb. I didn't even have an apartment.
Oh, nice.
And I flew to New York and I said, something's going to happen. Let's go.
Excellent. And that's something maybe that was happening was maybe something called Project Runway.
So that was Project Runway. It was airing at the time. And so we got to finally kind of see the whole show as it unraveled. And so I really wanted to be in the city and in it while it was all happening. And I'm glad that I made that move.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a super exciting place for sure. So in regards to Project Runway, being a contestant on that, how did that come about? Was that something that you sought out? They sought you? Or?
You know, I really didn't have Project Runway on my radar. It was not on my mind. It was something that just kind of fell into my lap. And I was very excited for that opportunity. I, got called back and I did the whole audition process as normal. And then here we are. I feel super grateful for that wonderful opportunity. It was definitely life-changing. And I'm excited to really be doing everything that we're doing now with the Project Runway family.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I'm sure it was a great bounce for your career, but also your personality and maybe some things that may come in as a result of that. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
So you just came off a successful collection for the first time since the pandemic. I had the opportunity to go. It was at the, I'm not sure the formal name of it, but the rock climbing facility. And I thought it was an interesting way because I'm not sure if anybody's been to the Houston rock climbing, but there's actually kind of a little, runway that actually makes like a nice, unique design. So how are you feeling after that show? How are things? Exhaling, I hope.
Yes, at this point I am breathing. Thank you so much for joining us that night, by the way. I thrilled beyond words, super, super happy with the result of the show. I think after the pandemic, we're still in it, but it's starting to ease up. People are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable on doing gatherings and shows. And I think that one of the things that really makes me a great designer is part of bringing in those theatrics onto the runway. And so I wanted to be able to really submerge people into my concept of that deep ocean idea for that new collection. Ever since Momentum opened, which is the rock climbing gym that we had it at, I knew immediately that I wanted to have a show there. As you said, it literally has a built-in runway. It's just so perfect. I was like, I have to have a fashion show here. So during the pandemic, we worked really closely with Momentum. We were able to make their face masks that were sort of branded with their logo. But because I am a fashion designer, we were able to do it in such a way that it was more fashionable than it was literally just like, here's the Momentum logo. So they fell in love with that. And then I threw them the idea of, we have to have a fashion show. What do y'all think? And they loved it. And we were able to do it. I was super excited to just be able to bring sort of an in-person fashion show to the people of Houston again. And I think that that was where I needed to be as my first point coming back from the pandemic.
Yeah, having gone to that show before that at the Natural History Museum or Natural Science, it seemed like there were much more people, and it felt the energy because we were able to all be, super close, because everybody would, make around through the runway, but we're all like sitting on it. And we're almost so kind of, in looking back, kind of we were submerged since they had that kind of the top of the rock. It also felt like maybe we were kind of in an oceanic. I'm not sure if that was thought out, but it definitely.
That was. I loved how just ginormous the space was. I mean, it's a huge warehouse. You come in and you're overwhelmed with just the height of those rock structures. And the way that they sort of look like coral, in my mind, was
right.
really what I wanted you to experience as a guest. And you're right. I wanted you to come in and just feel just overwhelmed and really in that deep structure. And that is what I wanted for the collection. It was really just this deep underwater.
Yeah, success for sure. And you're so right on the coral with the handles, because they're all super colorful and just perfect. So look forward to the next one. And I would definitely recommend anyone to follow Alan at allen2.com to learn about the next event and all of his things that are going on. But can you talk us through a show, if you want to keep it to the most recent one, you're welcome to, but kind of take us through what leads up to a show. I mean, obviously you said you're exhaling, but I'm sure you always have ideas. So, how do you crank up the next one?
Yeah, so we're actually already working on the next one. I want to say that like a week before this past show, I was already thinking about the next one. I was already
nice.
Sort of foreseeing what I want for the next thing. And I think that I learned that, through many, many designers that say fashion is supposed to be looking into the future and seeing what's next and what people need next. So you always have to be looking at the next one. It starts with a concept. It starts with you sort of wanting what you want your next collection to be inspired by, what's around you at the time. If it's, personal, normally as an artist, we're always inspired by something personal that's around us. And so that triggers colors, and it'll trigger designs and silhouettes and concepts and fabrics. And after you choose all of that, then you can start sketching, you can start brainstorming ideas. I normally go right into draping. So I start putting the fabric onto a mannequin, and that's how I sort of just organically feel what the next shape for the next season is going to be. What do I want to be wearing? What sort of presence do I want to be giving off on the street? And that is what I start working on for the next collection. And that's where I am right now. That's the really exciting part of it. It's very artistic. It's very organic. There's no rules. Everything goes. And then later on, you start to edit it down and see, okay, how many pieces do we want? How many models are we going to have? How, where's the venue going to be? How are we going to make this happen for the people? How are the guests going to experience this? How are they going to really get to understand this new collection? And that's where we are. And it's, that for every show.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as you're thinking about, I guess, all of this, when does theme start creeping into, like, does it start at the beginning, or does it kind of, after you kind of stand back and look at a handful of collections that you've kind of created or draped, as you said. And, when does a theme start cropping up, or does it start early?
I think a theme for me is one of the first things that happens. It's the first thing that triggers everything else, and it ripples me into, what is the venue going to be? What are the models going to look like? What's the makeup? What's the hair? What's the collection? What's the fabric? The colors? For me, that's the start, and everything else falls under.
Great. You talked about the models. Are they part of as you're creating? Because it seemed like I did recognize maybe some of the faces, or is that just kind of come along later on? Like, do you have friends that are models or people in the industry, or how do you, or say, ooh, that person would be great for this outfit? Or
it's happened to be like that. I don't think we did that on purpose, but at this point, we do have several models that we work with collectively over the years. I think that you'll talk to many designers and you'll notice that they have muses where they get inspired from. I think that I have muses. They don't always model for me, but I definitely do think, who is this woman? Where is she going? Where is she wearing this to? And that will inspire how I design it and how I make it. So yeah, who is going to wear it is a huge factor into the design process.
So you've got everything laid out. You've got the date set, the venue, of course, the anticipation of getting everyone together. What's going on backstage leading to that first model? Because it seems like, from my perspective, that that a lot of times it's that first reveal, because we've kind of been waiting, we've been, anticipating. Are you able to take a breath then, or is it,
No, not at all. Oh my God, no. Backstage is super hectic. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. I've had several people tell me, Alan, that's where the real show is. And it's a complete circus back there of just, complete rings trying to make things happen. If it wasn't for my amazing team that flew down, I don't think I would have done it. It's just complete madness. I think I read somewhere, like, you truly have to be crazy to be a fashion designer and love that and want that to be your career, because you have to. There's no other explanation as to why you would do that. It's just madness. I don't think I ever breathe, and I'm okay with that. I've come to accept that it's just not going to happen. I am just running the whole way through.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where you just have to expect that things aren't going to go perfect, and you just have to triage whether they put something on and something tears, or, any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would imagine that you're constantly fitting, even kind of on Project Runway, you kind of see them. Of course, the time constraints are there, but they're fitting people, even as they're going out on stage.
Oh yeah, all the time. Our fittings are the day of. And so things happen in fashion very fast. Like you were saying, how do I know what model is going to fit what? That literally happens hours before the show. Like, I will make a full collection, and then I'll have all the models come in at the same time, and we do fittings, and we see who's going to wear what based on sort of their personality, their walk, what they're able to sell, because they're different clothes and they require a different person to make that garment come to life. But all of that happens in like hours, like the venue, all the people that helped you get to your seat as a guest, like all of that is made in hours. Like, the night is just all in that one day. It is crazy how fast fashion moves.
Well, it did not feel like it was hours. It felt very well thought out and very well planned. And everything, again, just down to the seat greeter and taking me to my seat. And it was awesome. So, okay, you've kind of got the first model out there. You've now got subsequent models. And then, of course, now you have the big reveal. Is that, what is the last outfit? Is it a big showstopper? Is it the quintessential theme of the show, the actual last model that goes out?
So I think that I've seen a lot of designers sort of throw out their bridal look for the season as their last shot out on the runway. And I'm really excited to start doing that. I think that I've started doing bridal a lot. That was what had me in this craziness, hecticness in the past month. I had my best friend, like literally right after the show, and they had come down. They flew down to Houston to help me with the whole show.
Oh, wow.
And then immediately after, I had a week before my best friend was getting married herself.
Oh, wow.
And I had to make both of her gowns, both the ceremony gown and the party gown that she was going to dance around all night in. And so I had a week to make both of those gowns. And now that I'm doing bridal, I was like, I have to show people that I can do bridal and that we are doing bridal. And so I think that's why I chose to close the show out with that amazing sort of mermaid cut gown that just twinkled, twinkled, twinkled down the runway. And yeah, it was a showstopper. I had a lot of people the rest of the night just tell me about that beautiful, beautiful gown and how they fell in love with that one. So,
well, I can also share that where I happened to sit was next to the family of the model that was wearing that dress. And they could not be beaming any more brightly. They looked at me, I looked at them, because it was obvious that they had a relationship, and they were just so proud. And the model looked beautiful. And so, yeah, congrats on that. So
thank you. Talk about models that resurface every once in a while. Linda was the model that wore that gown, and she has been modeling in every single one of my shows since I started. So I absolutely love Linda. I think that she's fantastic. And the way that she just sells that Allentude vibe is perfect.
Totally agree. Definitely represents the vibe and the dress and everything about it really wonderfully. So congrats to Linda on that. So the final dress has gone out. Now we get to see the person behind all of this wonderfulness. Talk to us about, I call it a strut. I don't know if that's the right word, but your final walk to say thank you to everybody, but also, proud of what you've done. So what does that strut feel like? And what are you thinking as you're kind of walking through everybody?
I love that. I've never had anyone call that final strut. I love that. There's not a lot going on.
I thought we were going to get a big...
I'm going to be so honest with you guys. There is, at that point, there is sort of an overwhelming support that I feel and love at that time, because you can really feel how all of the guests and the people are there to support me, to see what is Alan up to now. We've had people that have been following us the whole way through. And so it's very exciting for them to see my growth as a designer, to see like, okay, well, we've seen you when you first started sewing, and now that you really got it on your, now you know what you're doing, Alan. So it's nice for those people to sort of be there and experience that with you. It's a great event to sort of say thank you. But just like any other bow at a show, that's what it feels like. You really do feel the love from the audience, and just a full success. That's how you know when people love it and they see it. I'm like, yes, we did it. It's really hard because leading up to it, you're an artist and you're putting your whole heart and soul and art onto the runway, and no one's seen it for months. Like I said, I'm already working on the next one. So by then it has, it's 6 months of me working on this collection, and you have no idea what it is until it hits the runway. So no one's seen it. I have no input as to what people might think. So maybe people love it, maybe people hate it. And that night we finally get to see it. And so when that last final strut happens, I get to feel great, we did it. It was worth it.
Awesome. Well, the look on your face definitely felt like you were happy about everything, and it was wonderful. And as an artist, I do understand that sometimes it's like, this is going to be the best collection ever. Oh my gosh, this collection is going to be awful. Oh my gosh, we've got it. This is going to be great. And so I understand those ups and downs that, sometimes in that smile, like, yeah, we did it, So
exactly.
Yeah, congrats. You mentioned a little bit about your team. I don't know how much, are you actually hands-on with the needle in the hand or through the sewing? But you talked about people flying down. So you obviously have a good support group. How do they help you?
So I'm 100% hands-on for every single outfit. I design, pattern, cut, and sew every single garment. And then for the last couple details that I may need, if it's like, okay, we need to put in the zippers, we need to make, a pair of pants that we didn't have time to make. So now here's a pair of pants that we got to make, things like that. Then the team comes in and they're amazing. So the team is relatively new for Allentude. I started doing TV production, and now I'm making costumes for another designer that is
wonderful.
Just bringing us onto all of these great productions.
Exciting.
And through there, I was able to sort of make Really just friends. These are best friends at this point, who it would be Sarah, Rose, and Tim, who are these three amazing people here in New York. And we've just like worked so closely together that they were like, Alan, we're gonna come to Houston and we're gonna help you out. And I'm like, wait, what? And I was like, girl, you need the help. We want to see Houston. We want to see the collection. We are so excited. And you need hands, girl. Please let somebody help you. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. So they came down the week of the show. They helped me out so much. I would not have been able to make it. I mean, it was 35 pieces onto the runway. Like it was 35 looks
really?
that we saw that night.
Okay.
And so it happened so fast that
I would not have said 35.
Count how many 35, walked down, but that's how many walked. And so to make something like that happen, you really do need a support system, and they are fantastic.
Oh, that is wonderful. Yeah, it's somebody that you can trust and that you can, ask their opinion on. And so, yeah, that's wonderful.
Right. This was probably one of the first shows that I got to say hi to people and actually interact and mingle, both before the show and after the show. Normally on show day, you don't see me at all, because I'm backstage, because I'm working so hard, because there's so much to do. I'm just not seen. People are like, where's Alan? I want a picture with Alan. I want a picture with Alan. Like, he's busy. You don't get a picture with Alan today. But because of the team coming down and, like you said, really having that trust, I was able to leave them backstage, and they're like, go shake hands, go take pictures, go say hi to people. And I was able to freely do that and actually just like not worry about what's happening backstage. Because normally I'd be like, oh my God, do they have the gowns? Is everything happening? Like, what if the model busts a dress? Oh God. Was not thinking of any of that. I was just like, how is everybody doing? Is everybody great? Is everybody having a good time? It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
I think that's a huge moment in an artist to be able to let go of that. So that's a huge step that's not always talked about, because you do want everything to be as you see it, and to give that trust is for them to earn it, but also for you to give it, I think is huge.
It is huge. I'm in that step right now. And you're right. It's so hard. For the longest time, I've been doing everything myself. And so to finally just push back and say, Alan, other people can do it. You're getting to the point where you just can't do it yourself anymore. That was something that I had to learn through the pandemic. And I'm excited to see me continue to do that and see where that pushes us more.
I think that's going to really open up the sphere of Alantude and your path, definitely. So let's kind of transition to one of the cool things that you were able to do in the pandemic was something called Project Runway Redemption. So that brought you around with Nina Garcia again. So can you tell us a little bit about Project Runway Redemption, your role in that, and how that experience was?
Yeah. So Bravo called me and they pitched me the whole idea. They said, hey, Alan, how are you doing? And I'm like, hello, what do y'all want? What are y'all up to? I know y'all want something. Y'all want me to make an appearance. Y'all want me to be somewhere. What is this going to require of me? And they said, Alan, no. What if we have something to offer? And I'm like, well, I'm going to see if this is a good offer or not. I'll let you know.
There you go.
And they're so great. I love them at this point. You work in production, and so you know how it is.
Sure.
And they pitched me the whole idea. They said, we're going to do this show. It's going to be a redemption show. We're going to have past contestants come back. It'll be 5 episodes. The first 4, you'll have 1 versus 1. So you'll have one competitor versus another one. One will win there. And then the last episode, all of those 4 winners will come. They'll compete. And you'll have one final winner who really just takes home the $25,000.
Wonderful.
And I said, wow, great. That sounds amazing. Like such a fun show. So I'm thinking they want me to compete. I'm thinking, great. Okay, they want me to come back. They want me to do my thing as usual. And then she hits me with, and we want you to be the host. Oh. I said, what? Oh my God. Yes, immediately, yes. And she was like, all right, great. I'll tell Bravo that you're interested. And I'm like, no. Tell them I'm highly interested. What do you mean? I would love to do that. And then we started rolling and we started recording, and now I had to be the host gig. So that was definitely a different side, because you're not on the competitor side anymore. You're on that side. So that was a learning curve, but I was really excited for that opportunity.
Yeah, I've watched some of the episodes, and you definitely, because I think that you've been on their side, having been
Hmm.
competitive on the show, that you just have a natural empathy for what it is that they're doing, and your rapport. Of course, you always have some good angst and some good energy, so it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I did understand where they were coming from. I mean, I've been there, so I know how hard it is to make something in 2 days, in 3 days, in however many hours, to work on production, to deal with the cameras, to deal with the mics, to deal with the technical difficulties, all while having to still be creative and make something amazing. So yeah. I think I'll always be empathetic for those people.
I would definitely recommend, yeah, anyone to watch the show. It's fun. It's quick. It's 20 minutes. So you get to know these two contestants, and then they check in with Alan, and then at the end, Nina Garcia comes on and rates the outfits, and then chooses a winner. So it's fun. It does seem a little crestfallen sometimes for the other person because it's like, oh, they you feel for them, but yeah, the ones that do. And I'm, I try to, of course, you play as you're watching, which one is Nina going to choose. And I'm about 50-50. I don't know. So I'm not sure. You probably can't say, but yeah, it's interesting to see the ones that maybe win. Could you appreciate what they're doing? But are you also, is Nina like grading that dress, but also that, what's the next dress going to be if they move to the next round or?
I have to say that I am so relieved that I'm not Nina Garcia and I did not have to judge because I don't think I could do it. It was, like you said, I'm so empathetic and I know them. So I would have been completely biased as to who would have won. I mean, some of these people are my friends. We spent our season together.
Right.
So I would have been completely biased. The way that Nina Garcia judges, and I think that it was great to be on this side and actually sort of, kiki with her and have a good time instead of like me being in front of her and like, is she judging me? Is she gonna like me or not? Oh my God, this is so hard. It was nice to not be in those shoes because that is sweat city immediately, and the designers will tell you, even though it was over camera, they were still sweating with Nina on there.
It is a big deal, yeah.
But yeah, she takes everything into consideration. I love how detailed she is. Everything is about the details when it comes down to fashion. And so even though it was over the camera, like she wanted to see close up, she wanted to see it further back. She wanted to see every single thing, the construction, how it was done. That's one of the great things about her. And that's why she's been on the season for so long.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She is a veteran for sure. So I guess kind of switching gears a little bit, we just had the Met Gala. Do you have any thoughts on some of those dresses? That's always craziness. Do you envision what you would design for someone, or?
I do actually. I think of that all the time, and I'm very excited for the day that happens. It. I always love to go big, and especially with things like that. It's my theater background that comes out every single time, and I think that is one of the times that you want to be theatric, you want to be out of the box. It doesn't have to make sense. In
Obviously
no
not,
way
yeah.
does it have to make sense. You have a whole museum to yourself for that night. You've got these giant steps. You've got this giant red carpet. Like normally when you have to think of designs, it's like, where is she going? How is she getting there? Is she taking a cab? Is she sitting in a car? Is she
Oh,
driving
wow.
herself? Is she going on the subway? These are things that I think of when I'm designing. And so for that night, none of that matters. She just has to walk in. So, you could make
Those
anything.
stairs, though, you got to dodge those stairs, though, huh? Or not even
You've got to dodge the stairs for sure, but you also have 7 people that are helping you up the stairs. So if all fails, one of those 7 people will catch you. So I say go big. I always love whenever a designer goes big or they go out of the box, and it's so, whether you hate it or you love it, people talked about it, and that to me is a great design.
Yeah, I would definitely look forward to seeing you delve into that arena too. So I hope if anyone listens, or hopefully eventually, yeah, they get the opportunity to reach out to you to go big and be crazy. Is there one that stood out for you that would kind of say, "Ooh, that's good stuff"? Or
I have to say, none really like stood out. I'm excited to see them do part two because of the pandemic. They did it in 2 parts this year,
oh,
and
okay.
so I think I'm going to wait for part 2 when it does come back in May, and we'll see what people do. I'm excited. It was definitely a weird one since it was still, COVID-ish.
Yeah. No, it was definitely fun to watch. I didn't realize about the part 2, so I'm excited to
Yeah,
check that
yeah.
out. Do you know when that's supposed to be released or show?
It should be in May. It's normally the first
Okay.
Monday of May.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we'll keep. Is there any chance for you to be in that? Could somebody reach out to you now?
Anna Wintour, call me up, girl. Call me up and I'm there. So
Excellent. Well, yes, I have fingers crossed on that. That would be awesome. And then it is Halloween season. Do you have is Halloween a favorite time for you? Are you thinking about costumes?
I love Halloween. I have client work right now that I'm making for Halloween. I have 2 different costumes that I'm making for clients because
Nice.
they want a costume, but they still want it to be fashion. So here we are. That's literally what I do. And then myself, I actually have not gotten that far. I don't know what I'm wearing yet. I'm very excited. I have like about 4 different events that I have to make it to and make an appearance, but I
Oh, wonderful.
don't know what I'm going as. I have no idea. And I'm sure we'll figure it out, and it'll be a whole Project Runway moment where I have to make it work and I'm on a deadline and I've got minutes to make it. So I'm excited to see what I pop out of my hat.
Excellent. Well, I would definitely be following your Instagram and your website. If I did want to follow you on Instagram, what is your Instagram deeds?
Yeah, all of our social medias are at Alantude. So it's ALANTUDE, like attitude, but Alantude. And you can find us on every platform.
And there is a difference. There is a genuine Alantude. So if you visit his sites and his Instagram and everything, you'll definitely see right away that Alan's pushing the envelope in such a great way. And it's going to be super fun to watch. So as we kind of close things out, I do kind of have one more question. It seems like it would appear that your mom and you are very close. I saw her at the show. Can you tell me about her and your relationship and what she means to you?
For sure. So we're a small family. It's literally just my mother, my little brother, and me. And we're a small family, but we party like we're a family of 20. Whenever we're together, it is such a great time. I mean, they were literally just here for the weekend visiting me in New York. They finally got to see my apartment, kind of where I live, what it feels like to live in New York. We've done the touristy things. They had seen all of that before. But this time they got to see New York through my eyes of like actually living here, which was really exciting. Whenever you're a parent and your child goes off to wherever they go off, that sort of, you being worried, are they okay? Are they not okay? That was able to help her out. She is my number one support system. If it was not for my mother pushing me and being there every step of the way, ever since I was young, I would not be where I am now. That woman really is the reason why I'm doing what I can and what I am doing. So always love for her, always having her everywhere. And yeah, I think that's why. We're so close.
Awesome. Excellent. I did also notice too that at the Natural Science show, you had high heels on, and this other one, you had tennis shoes on. Is that a pandemic thing? Is that...
Alan, did you throw your heels away because of the pandemic? No, I didn't find a cute pair of heels in Houston that I wanted to wear for the show. That was the only reason that I wasn't in heels. I just didn't find a pair I liked. But whenever I can, I love to throw on a good pair of pumps. If I expect it from my girls and I expect it from my models or whatever client, I'm like, girl, you got to put on the highest heel you can. So if I expect it from them, I will 1000% throw it out myself and also be like, if I can do it, you can do it. And that's why I do. I throw on a cute pump and I look great and I can serve it and talk about that final strut. So I can do that in a heel. But that was the only reason. That was not pandemic. It was only because in the next one you'll see me in a high heel. How about
Excellent.
that?
Well, I look forward to that. Yeah, I just didn't know, sometimes people, they were going to the PJs and relaxed fit and relaxed wear. So I'm glad to know that the heels are still in the repertoire. And I look forward to seeing it the next time at one of your big design shows. So thank you so much, Alan, for all that you're doing as a Houstonian and representing Houston. Thanks for all that you're doing as a person, and I'm definitely going to keep a watch on you and recommend anyone to please follow Alan and his journey. It'll definitely inspire you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for having me. And yeah, we'll stay in touch.
Awesome. Take care.
Thank you, you too.